moving win at Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs get it done 23-20. And as always, you are tuned in to the Red and Gold Postgame Show, which is presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, a proud supporter of Cars for Heroes and giving back to those in need. ShamrockRoofer.com. Also presented by Boda Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Boda, the ultimate tailgate wine. Based off the previous two games, Buffalo and then Denver, you should have had little to no confidence that the Chiefs, with 14 minutes left to go, were going to find a way to rally, especially when a couple of those drives they needed, absolutely had to have it in the fourth, started backed up inside their own 10. But all season long, especially in these one-score games, we had looked to Patrick Mahomes, we had looked to Andy Reid, this offense, and said, if not now, when? When are they going to have that signature drive to win them a football game? And I know, maybe it's too dramatic. I mean, this is a 3-time Super Bowl winning quarterback that has been to the Super Bowl 5 out of the last 6 years. But the numbers were in front of us. They were 0-5 in one-score games. With the game on the line, I need to choose my words carefully here. With the game on the line, the last couple of weeks, they couldn't get the stop. They couldn't get the turnover. They couldn't come up with the big play. And today, though we will talk about Harrison Butker, though we will talk about Rashee Rice, look, I got to give the props to the defense in the fourth quarter and overtime. When they needed to make a play, they made the play. When they needed a stop, they made the stop. And they gave this offense ample amount of opportunities to go win the game. And eventually they did. But everybody keep in mind here, there is no chance the Chiefs win this football game if they don't hold Indianapolis to a field goal when it was 17-9. A touchdown there almost ends the game, and you're still down 2 scores, and it is the third quarter, but, I mean, the Chiefs had 3 field goals at that point. I'm not sure you're feeling that good down 15 to Indianapolis. They're facing an MVP candidate on the other sideline in Jonathan Taylor, who they completely shut down in this game. Now, a little bit is on that defense. A little bit is on the Colts, I guess, reluctantness to give him the ball and trying to ice the game. Maybe it's due to the Chiefs' defensive front stonewalling him a few times, and they were trying to catch the Chiefs' defense napping, but they were prepared. And in that fourth quarter, down 11, they had to get multiple stops. Multiple in the fourth quarter. Now, here's also the reality of the situation. This is a massive win. It's monumental. There are still a lot of holes with this team. But going into Thanksgiving, there is life. There is life that this team can turn it around. If you lost this game, there's nothing I need to dance around today. You're 5-6. You are 0-6 in one-score games. You are 2-5 against the AFC. You have been very poor against the playoff field. I wouldn't need to dance around all the questions you guys may have, and you certainly can have them on our phone line, which you can call in at 913-381-0810. That's 913-381-0810. But you needed this one so badly. And in the NFL, as you heard me say so many times last season, you don't apologize for victories. No matter how you get them, you just need to stack W's. And to get to 6-5, here's the rest of their schedule. They will get a Cowboys team, yes, in prime time, sold out, wide out in Dallas. Post Malone's performing at halftime. but you get a Dallas team that's under 500. You do get a really tough Houston team on Sunday Night Football. That'll be a battle. That'll be a grind. Your other two road games, though, the Titans and Raiders, combined for 3 wins this year. You get the Chargers and that banged-up offensive line and the Broncos again. And I would just ask you this, and maybe you feel differently with this year's squad. Do you feel that the Chargers or the Broncos are going to come into Arrowhead Stadium and sweep the Chiefs this year? That is a total, normal question to ask. And everybody can have differing opinions. I'm not trying to lead you one way or the other. It's strictly based on your confidence and probably how they're playing at that point. But today, I'm not sure I'm going to spend as much time on the start they had or the special teams blunders. We may touch on it a little bit. But today, especially coming off of, that's the third time I've used that word in this opening monologue, the third time they've had this chance. You go back to Buffalo, you go to Denver, and you go to today. If they would have lost this one, not come through with the big stop or come through with the big drive, we would have been moving on to 2026. We would have been looking ahead to the draft. And it does sound dramatic, I know. I know you all were thinking it, though. And this team's not going anywhere. Maybe you still feel that way. And that's fine, too. It's going to take more than one win to change your perception of this team. However, you can look at the records of these two squads. This was an 8-2 Colts team coming in, and they deserved their flowers as well. They were damn impressive for 3 quarters, and then they collapsed in the 4th. And that's where I sat back a little bit and wondered if the Chiefs do get it. Let's say they play really good football the rest of the way, and they get to January. These are the type of games that will worry the top seeds in the AFC. All it took was one game to get that mojo back of we can win these. And I'm not sure the Chiefs ever lost that confidence of we can win a one-score game. You don't win 3 Super Bowls, get to 5 out of the last 6, and then suddenly lose all the confidence in the world because you're 0-5 in one-score games. It's an off year for sure. I know Indianapolis, though, is thinking, man, were there a couple of times we should have gone for it on 4th and 3, 4th and 4? We could have iced the game. But they were going off the script that Denver had. Hey, our defense has played well. Lou Anarumo has Patrick Mahomes a bit confused. We're going to win this with our defense. And most teams have been able to do that this year, especially in those one-score games. There I go again. But all it takes at times is one. You need that one against a good team. This is totally different if you win this football game against the Raiders or you win it against the Titans and you need to battle and grind it out for 4 quarters. Totally different story. This is an Indianapolis team that's top 3 in the AFC. Say what you want about Daniel Jones. You can believe what you want about Indianapolis. They are well coached. They don't make too many mistakes. And the only mistakes I thought they made today was going away from Jonathan Taylor when the game was on the line. The guy wasn't running all over that Chiefs defense. I would rather have him decide the game for my offense, though, than Daniel Jones. That's the only mistake I thought Shane Steichen and the Colts coaching staff made. In overtime, I thought that the Colts defended the Chiefs pretty well. There were a couple of plays, though, where you go, that's vintage Patrick Mahomes. You find Worthy down the field for 30. You find Rice open. And even on the drive that set up overtime, you found Rice for 47. You found Rice on 4th and 3. Those were the plays that just weren't happening in the first 10 games of the season. And you needed your big-time players to step up in these moments. If they didn't, totally different story we're talking about today. Kareem Hunt. Let's give him some praise. 30 carries today. He had the fumble, by the way, his first fumble since his first carry of his NFL career. We all remember that game. Foxborough in 2017. And then he went off. Had over 130 scrimmage yards, I believe. It might have been way over that. He fumbled today inside the red zone. slams his helmet down on the sideline. Everything in that moment felt like that was it. The crowd got quiet. Could hear a pin drop. And I also want to give credit to those driving home and were at the game. Incredibly loud. I turned it up on my TV multiple times on those third downs in the fourth quarter. Deafening. And you're going to rattle some of those quarterbacks that aren't used to moments like that. Daniel Jones has played in a playoff game. He's not experienced an environment like that at Arrowhead when you kind of feel that the momentum is shifting a little bit. I thought the game really shifted when Kareem Hunt fumbled. It was 20-9, and then the defense came on the field, and the Colts are feeling good. They feel the Chiefs are crumbling a little bit. The offense went nowhere. Jonathan Taylor rushed for a loss of 2, incomplete, and then I believe a very short gain as well. And that energy, that intensity that you'd been looking for all game, it allowed the Chiefs to set things back up. They drive down the field, touchdown, 2-point conversion, get the ball back, then they actually punt it, get the ball back again, drive down the field. I would have liked to see them end it in regulation. I was not thrilled with the play calls on 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal. That's also hindsight 2020. You can give credit to the Colts defense, them getting the stop there. What I loved, though, was we are either going to overtime or Harrison Butker misses the kick. Like, we are ending regulation with the ball in our hands. We're not letting somebody else dictate the game. We're going to dictate it. I wouldn't be saying that, by the way, if they didn't win it in overtime. If they lost in overtime, we're going directly back to that. You couldn't score on 1st and goal at the 2, and you ran a lot of clock off, and then you had 2 passing plays that didn't go anywhere. One was incomplete, and then the other was the sack, which led to the game-tying field goal. Harrison Butker, though, was nails today. Perfect. You needed him to be. Weren't that difficult of kicks, as long as you make them. Chiefs get it done at Arrowhead Stadium, 23-20 in overtime. Feel a little bit that could be a turning point in the season. Trying not to let the recency bias affect my decision. To hell with it, though. Feeling good after the way the last 2 games went. And I can't wait to watch that game on Thanksgiving. You win that one, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself. You win that one in Dallas, you feel you're cooking with gas a little bit. What a thriller it was at Arrowhead. You guys driving home were incredibly loud. Fun game to watch in the fourth quarter and overtime. I'm not going to say it was a fun game to watch for the first 3. What matters, though, is you got the victory. Let's go to the phone lines here. Have a couple of callers I want to get to. We're going to begin things, as we always do, with Gary. Gary, you're on the Red and Gold Postgame Show. Go ahead.
Well, let's just say that was a gritty win today. It was very gritty. They fought back, came back and won, surprisingly. I thought once they were down, that was game, set, match, and they came back and won. The special teams, though, are still a huge area of concern. The coverage units are horrible. I think part of it is that Matt Araiza outkicks his coverage way too much. He doesn't get enough hang time on the punch. The distance is great, but if that ball's not hanging in the air, you don't give your coverage units a chance to get down there. That's why you have those big returns. Another holding penalty today on the special teams. At what point does Dave Tove try to correct this? Because we're 11 games in now, and this isn't getting better as far as these coverage units are concerned. Defensively, Spagnuolo, great job today. You are doing a lot when you don't have a lot to work with. So I think that shows that Spagnuolo knows what he's doing, is doing his job, but at the same time, they didn't sack the quarterback at all. They generated some pressure on him, but they still weren't able to get the quarterback to the ground. Chris Jones showed up a little bit today, made a play here and there. Offensively, it was a slog. I mean, it was. I mean, you get down in the red zone, you only score 1 touchdown. But before I go, I'm going to leave you with this today. Gunnar Olszewski threw more touchdown passes today than Patrick Mahomes. I'll hang up and listen. Great show, guys.
Appreciate the phone call, Gary. With Patrick today, I didn't think it looked pretty for the first three quarters. In the end, he ends 29 of 46, 352 yards, no touchdowns and interception. He could have scored on a few of those. You have to kick a few field goals here and there. End of regulation. I'm sure that he would have had more opportunities. What I care about with Patrick Mahomes' stat line today is what he did in the final couple drives of regulation and the final drive in overtime. Now, yeah, it'd be great to see 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. It would be nice and flashy to look at. He had also 30 yards on the ground. This was a big one for him, though. He was not great against Denver. He was not great against Buffalo. Against the Colts and a defensive coordinator that has put him through hell before, he showed up when it mattered most. And what matters to Patrick Mahomes today is that his team got the win. Back to the phone lines, going to get to Ryan. Ryan, apologies. We were going to get to you first, but I guess I'll have to get to you second. That was a miscommunication on me and Dylan's part.
Hey, no worries. Gary was good today, somewhat. Mahomes doing too much. That's what I think. We need to get a running back from Mahomes, I think, in the future, is what we need to do. Defense, they came out, stopped it. Main thing is we got the win today. Other than that, you guys have a good day. But no, Gary didn't do too bad. Thanks, man.
All right, appreciate the phone call, Ryan. Patrick Mahomes at times does have to do a little bit too much, whether it be his guys not getting open, the offensive line breaking down a little bit, or just the defense defending him incredibly well. There's always going to be a mixture of it, and I try not to, too many times in this show, just defend Patrick Mahomes over and over and over again. It's the easy thing to do, right? You don't want to put blame at the feet of the guy that's won you 3 Super Bowls. There are times, though, and there are games where you say it's a bad play. It's a bad miss. And there were plenty of bad misses today. His worst play changed the tone of the first quarter. You felt good about getting off the field. The Colts punt it. Don't score on that first drive. You shut down Jonathan Taylor. Your first pass of the game, RPO, which we talked about all week long, right into the hands of a lineman, batted up in the air, picked off. They scored 2 or 3 plays later. So it wasn't a perfect Patrick Mahomes game. But with the way things have gone in these 5 losses, he's had the ball a lot with less than 4 to 5 minutes to go. And you haven't gotten that signature drive. And as we said before a couple of the phone calls, and you can call in at 913-381-0810, sometimes all it takes is one. You need that one to give you the confidence and the arrogance and the swagger back of, give me the damn ball back. All I need is 13 seconds, and I can get you into field goal range. But when you come up short over and over and over again, everybody's human. There has to be this sense of, it's a little bit tougher now. Guys aren't as open. Defenses have gotten better, quicker, smarter. And today, that was just grinding it out, find a way to win. The star of the show was not Patrick Mahomes, though, even with the 352 through the air. Kareem Hunt deserves praise, but he also fumbled. The defense, I'll give them the honor as a collective unit. And we do our Nelson Atkins player of the game later on in the show. I might give it to the whole damn defense. They got some huge stops. And in overtime, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, to stuff Jonathan Taylor like that, I'm not sure there have been many teams, if any, that have done that to him in a short yardage situation. Drew Tranquill got through the gap. Chris Jones, who had maybe his best game of the season. We talked about that in the Central Bank pregame show. A guy to watch. Chris Jones usually shows up in games like this. Now it's just one. I want to keep coming back to that. It is just one. You need to do this the next couple of weeks to feel that you are firmly in the driver's seat. And if you are, now you beat Dallas, you get past Houston, it's going to be tough to do. You go from 5-5 to 7-5 or 8-5, though. Now you've got the AFC back on notice, and you feel that you are getting dangerous at the right time. Let's go back to the phone lines and hear from Kyle. Kyle, you're on the Red and Gold Postgame Show. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Great show like always. Man, I'm glad we got a victory today. That's number one. You never apologize for winning. A few things. I want to give a shout-out to Kareem Hunt. Yes, he fumbled the ball, but, man, we don't win that game without him getting those 5 or 8 yards of carry. And he came back after that fumble and scored a touchdown. You're going to make mistakes. Everybody's human. But that's number one. Kareem Hunt, phenomenal job today. Just phenomenal on the run game by him. And the offensive line for giving him the little bit of the holes. They struggled a little bit, but overall, though, they gave him the holes they needed to get him those 5 or 8 yards and push the pile. So number one on him. Number two, I liked the pressure again. Even though you don't get to the quarterback, you still make that quarterback make errant throws, and that's what the quarterback was doing. Yes, you would like to see sacks, but it's the little things. And the Chiefs today, it was the little things, and that won them the game. Yes, they weren't getting to the quarterback, but they were getting pressure on Daniel Jones, and when you get pressure on a quarterback, number one is he's either going to throw a pick, which he almost did, or two is he's going to make some bad throws, and the Chiefs had enough pressure to cause him some bad throws. That's number two. And number three was we needed the Colts to become one-dimensional. Stopping Jonathan Taylor, and the Chiefs did that today. And then I looked at the stat line on the television in the fourth quarter. It was, I think, at the end of the fourth quarter. And it was the Chiefs had a total of 160 yards, and the Colts had 11 yards in that fourth quarter. That is great offense and defense in that quarter. At the end, the Chiefs didn't play pretty all 3 quarters, but in that fourth quarter, man, did the Chiefs defense phenomenal. Number 4 is, and then I'm going to make this real short and sweet, the Chiefs have to capitalize in the red zone. That's been the biggest struggle, I think, this year. Usually we've done pretty well, but I would like to see the Chiefs get 1 touchdown in the red zone. You never apologize for winning, but we're playing the Cowboys next week, and yes, the Cowboys to me are not that great, in my opinion, but the Chiefs need to score in the red zone more. I'll listen off the air. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course, Kyle. Good stuff as always. Yeah, against Dallas, it's a really good offense you're going to be going up against. It's also a defense that's one of the worst in the league. It's going to be a little bit easier to capitalize in the red zone than it has been all season long, truthfully. I mean, next to Baltimore when they faced them back in, what was that, late September, early October, that was the worst defense I thought they'd faced to date. Just because of how banged up Baltimore was at that time, the numbers they were giving up. This is maybe the worst defense they've faced all season long, and they won't get Cincinnati this year, who I believe is still bottom of the league in nearly every category. Dallas has not been good whatsoever defensively. Now, they added some help at the trade deadline, so it'll be a little tougher to go up against. You're right, though, Kyle. In the red zone, you got to be able to capitalize. I was furious at the time when they got stuffed on 1st and goal, had the incompletion on 2nd and goal, then had the sack on 3rd and goal. You are too good of a team, or I should say you have too much talent on offense to not come up with 1 or 2 yards. You got to have some play call in that playbook to win you the damn football game. And you're seeing after the timeout, Matt Nagy, Andy Reid talking with the offense, and then you just see that play unfold. Patrick Mahomes gets sacked, and he's got to be careful. He can't force anything there. Worst case scenario, you're going to overtime. Not turning the ball over there. Still, to not have anybody open, you had 3 guys on one side of the field, all in the end zone, clumped up together. That's frustrating. There's still things you have to improve on, get better at if you want to make that deep run in January. The important thing is, though, right now, after this game, you have done enough to keep yourself alive. If you lost, all hope would have been gone. Back to the phone lines. Let's get to Bo. Bo, you're on the Red and Gold Postgame Show. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I just want to touch on a few things.
I just don't understand why the play calling is so stale down there, the end zone area, the red zone. I would think, you could see the potential of Kareem Hunt catching the ball out of the backfield. I don't understand why they don't throw it to him a little bit more, or the backs, or the screen game to help out. It seems like Mahomes sits back for that bomb shot, and he holds the ball a little bit too long, and things like that. And the other thing is,
Hey, Bo, sorry, real quick. We'll have to come back to you real shortly. We just have Rashee Rice at the podium. We have to jump to him. Sorry, we got to do that, and we'll get right back to you.
Stick together. Why do you feel like it's what you say about the scheme and the plan that's built to allow you to do that? The coaches have a great scheme. All we have to do is execute whatever they call the play calling. When everybody's doing their job, it's a lot easier to be able to, come out with big plays like that. So,
what do you think gives you such a knack for the yards after the catch in the open space?
I'm not the biggest guy on the field, and I'm usually in the middle of the field, so I got big guys chasing me the whole time, and there's nothing like, making 1-5 happy when you complete a catch and, turn the field.
When it comes to that cornerback matchup you had, Sauce Gardner, Mooney Ward, and all those guys, just how difficult was it for the first 3 quarters of that game, and then what went into it later in the game that you guys could get a little separation?
I would say we got the same amount of talent in the wide receiver room as they would have in the cornerback room over there. Great guys over there. We got great guys over here. Just a lot of competing, and you kind of just see who wanted it more. Our back was against the wall. It's been against the wall, so we just had to dial in a little bit.
What does it say about your defense that they were able to hold 4 consecutive games?
I can't even explain. Those guys were, going crazy today. Our linebackers, D-line, they came out with a lot of energy. We had long drives on offense, which allowed our defense to be able to gain all their energy back and be able to come out full throttle.
For a long time today, it felt like it was going to be a loss, and the momentum shifted. What do you think shifted the momentum in your guys' favor?
Honestly, we don't really never feel like we're going to lose. It's a 4-quarter game, full football game, and as long as you want it, you put your mind to it and stick together, we're going to have the outcome that we want.
With Kareem having 30 carries, you don't see that often in the game. It's just ways to think of how we provided a lot 104 yards back to the ground.
He dominated today. Really proud of that guy. I look forward to seeing a lot more of that out of him. We got a nice running back room, and it was just huge for him to be able to, get over that forced fumble at the, towards the end of the game and just come out and finish as strong as he could.
This turns into a short week. I guess what was the message from the country in the locker room?
We know it's a short week. We know we got a game Thursday in Dallas. Same preparation. We just got to focus on the next game in front of us.
A couple more. All good? Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, that was Rashee Rice at the podium. Yeah, apologies to some of the callers out there. We got to take those live, so it's nothing against your point. Nothing that you would be saying. So, Bo, I do appreciate your patience there. As long as we don't have anybody coming to the podium, we might give it a few minutes here and there. So what we may do right now, Dylan, are we going to take a break and then come back? Okay. We'll do this right now then. Just got the word from Dylan in my ear. We're going to go back to Bo. Bo, appreciate your patience. You're going to wrap it up here for our first segment, then we'll take our break. You got me?
Okay. Well, anyways, I was trying to get back to his play calling. It seems like Andy Reid's RPO is just not working. And the other thing is using the screen game. Kareem Hunt looked like he can, take that ball and catch it pretty decent stuff. Using the bubble screens and some of that like he used to in the past, but it gone away from it. And the other thing I want to touch on is with, I heard an article out that with Dameon Pierce being released from the Houston Texans, Chiefs might be interested. I think that would be a good pickup if they decide to run the ball under center a little bit more and go with the 2-back set with Hunt and Pierce and stuff. Just somehow get this running game and get the screen game and just, some better play calling instead of sitting back and just chucking bombs and stuff like that or holding the ball too long and things. And the costly mistakes it seem like week in and week out with the, turnovers, under pressure and stuff. And the last thing I want to touch on is these costly penalties, like the one with Travis Kelce's callback touchdown. that was ridiculous. But it seems like the last 4 or 5 games, they've hit the Chiefs with some pretty pathetic calling. And I just want to touch on and hear what you had to say. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you being flexible, Bo. I hated to cut you off when we had Rashee Rice at the podium because you make some great points out there. As for Dameon Pierce, I doubt it. The Chiefs just don't like to bring in guys that have to then learn the playbook this late in the season. Kareem Hunt gave you 30 carries today, and it wasn't for a high clip in terms of yards per carry. I believe it was around 3.5. I believe they're going to roll with Kareem Hunt, Rashard Smith, and then when Isaiah Pacheco comes back, he'll be that third back as well that they're going to utilize in this offense. So I just feel that at this point in the season, you're not going to be bringing in anybody that could make that much of a difference is what I'm getting at here. As for the penalties, yeah, Andy Reid says all the time you got to clean it up. Well, I want to see it get cleaned up. Some of them are going to be ticky-tack. There were bad calls on both sides. I'm tired of seeing special teams penalties, man. That is so frustrating to watch. Every damn punt return, every damn kickoff return, there's a hold. You can't tell me that these guys are just getting screwed by officials. No, they're holding clearly. And you're backing up every drive 10 yards. Figure it out. Thought this was going to be the week that we didn't see any issues in terms of kickoff return and punt return. Now, Harrison Butker was nails today. 5 of 5, I believe. And then also didn't kick a ball out of bounds. That's what I want to see from Harrison Butker. Now, maybe not such a high total of field goals because I want those drives ending in touchdowns. Still, clean it up, man. So sick of those special teams penalties, and I know all of you are as well. Let's go back to the phone line here. I said we were going to take a break. Might as well get the final two here on the line. Going to go to Joe in Cali. Joe, what's on your mind?
Hey, calling in from California. I thought today's crowd, vintage crowd today at Arrowhead.
Oh, yeah.
Fans were so good. I mean, it was loud. A couple other things. Holding Jonathan Taylor, potential MVP, to what we held him to today, very reminiscent of what the Chiefs held Derrick Henry to in the AFC Championship game. Spags was classic today. He was in his bag. Quick playoff picture. The next time the Chargers and the Bills play, the Chiefs could be tied in wins. And looking at that playoff picture, the Chargers play the Raiders, but then they have the Eagles, and then they have a trip to Arrowhead. The Bills have Aaron Rodgers and a hungry Steelers team, Joe Burrow, and then New England Patriots. That's not an easy schedule at all. And then one last stat for you. I saw this on Twitter. Since 2024, postseason included, Chiefs are 6-0 when Kareem Hunt has 15 or more rushing attempts. He has not had 15 more or rushing attempts since the AFC Championship game. Of course, that streak ended today. I'll hang up and listen after you.
Great stuff, Joe. That is some good information there on the playoff picture and then also on the Kareem Hunt carries per game or what the record is when he goes over 15. You could tell there was a commitment to the run. And during the Central Bank pregame show today, Mark Bowichter and I were going back and forth on the running game, and you got to establish the run. And he said, I feel this is that game that you commit to it a little bit. And the Chiefs certainly did. Now, Dylan and I are both in lockstep with hand the ball off when you're lined up under center. Tired of these shotgun handoffs. They're not going anywhere. I mean, if you thought I was tired of the RPOs, I'm so sick of the 2nd and 10 runs out of the shotgun. You don't have explosive enough running backs to get that done. Give Kareem Hunt some downhill momentum. Give the interior time to set up a good block and go pound forward for 4 or 5 yards. I'll take that every time from Kareem Hunt. As for the playoff picture, if there was one team I was banking on falling off and the Chiefs being able to catch up to them, it's the Chargers. They looked really good early on in the season. It has nothing to do with their offensive talent. It has everything to do with who they have at offensive line. So maybe that's contradicting myself there. Their offensive line is so banged up, and they're getting ravaged each and every week. If there's one team I'm hoping to fall off, or I have the most confidence in falling off, it's the Chargers because of that offensive line, and the Chiefs still have one game left against them, and that's coming in Kansas City. Let's wrap it up here with Dan and KCK. Dan, you're on the Red and Gold Postgame Show. Go ahead.
Yes, I did. It was a great comeback win by the Chiefs. I think it's real. That Chiefs that was like a touchdown on the first quarter. But anyway, it's a great game by the Chiefs. These guys will come to touchdown better. get more touchdowns and start the Cowboys getting the Jackie.
I appreciate it, Dan. A little tough to hear there, but I think we got most of it. Chiefs get it done at Arrowhead Stadium today, 23-20 in overtime. They were down 20-9 in the fourth quarter and didn't have the ball. That was about 14 minutes left, so still a ton of time. But in those one-score games this season, they were 0-5. Now 1-5. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Let's take our first break of the show. When we come back, we continue our breakdown on the Red and Gold Postgame Show on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
is good. Kansas City survives. And they are still in the mix in the AFC. He's still here.
And that game-winning kick from Harrison Butker was the play of the game, which is brought to you by Central Bank. Join the best in banking when you open an account with Central Bank. Central Bank, strong roots, endless possibilities, member FDIC. And you're locked into the Red and Gold Postgame Show, which is presented by Boda Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Boda, the ultimate tailgate wine. Also presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, a proud supporter of Cars for Heroes and giving back to those in need. ShamrockRoofer.com. You know, there's a couple different directions I could go with this, because I thought some guys on the defensive side of the ball really stood out to me. I thought Chris Jones had a really good game. Now, he didn't get the sack or the two-sack game. He was really disruptive, though, on the interior. And that's the Chris Jones you've been hoping for the first 10 games of the season. Hasn't really shown up more than one or two games. Today, when it mattered most, he did. Thought Drew Tranquill was pretty good. On the offensive side of things, thought Kareem Hunt was damn good. Kareem Hunt had 30 carries today. And I want to give a little credit here to Jason Justice, longtime member of the studio, does just about everything around here. They're bringing up a good point, because our caller said, over 15 carries, or undefeated, I believe it was, or a really good record. If it wasn't undefeated, it was a really good record. But you got a short week. You got the Cowboys on Thursday. And Kareem looked gassed at the end of the game. Completely gassed. And is he going to get 20 carries on Thursday against Dallas? I would doubt it. What I am hoping for is Isaiah Pacheco is going to be healthy. Because you want to have Kareem Hunt fresh and ready to go. The back half of your schedule, he looked utterly exhausted at the end of the game, as one would be following a 30-carry game. And then Harrison Butker was perfect. He was a part of our play of the game, the game-winning field goal in overtime. But I am going to give the MVP award, or Nelson Atkins MVP award, to Kareem Hunt. He did have the fumble, also had 30 carries for over 100 yards and a touchdown in this one. Came up huge on the final couple drives of the game. Really bounced back after that costly fumble in the fourth quarter. So he will be our Chiefs Player of the Game, which is brought to you by Nelson Art Gallery. The Chiefs Player of the Game is brought to you by the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. The free exhibition Personal Best features 6 Kansas City artist-athletes at the top of their game. Come see how discipline, dedication, and drive can power both art making and athletics. Learn more at nelson-atkins.org. Chiefs win it in overtime, 23-20. And as you heard Jim Nantz say, the very tail end of the play of the game, they're still alive. They have life. And 6-5 doesn't feel great. You thought after you had won those 3 games during the 3-game homestand against the Lions, the Raiders, and the Commanders, you were off and running. You got Rashee Rice back. You had the Bills, the Broncos, Colts, a really tough 3-game stretch. And man, through the first 2 games, and then 3 quarters of this one, you feel like it couldn't have gone any worse. Buffalo smacked you around pretty good. Denver smacked you around defensively. And then today, the Colts were making Daniel Jones just look free and easy. He looked so comfortable. We heard Tony Romo say that numerous times in the broadcast. So comfortable back there. And that was without Jonathan Taylor doing much. Offensive line was giving him good protection. Defense was getting stops on Patrick Mahomes. But what happened in the fourth quarter is what I feel every Chiefs fan has been waiting for in all 5 of these losses, right? The Chargers game. Oh, the Chargers are going to make the mistake and the Chiefs are going to capitalize. Nope. 3rd and 18, whatever it was for Justin Herbert, bails out of the pocket. Chris Jones, instead of being in contain, goes inside. And Herbert just scampers down the sideline. First down, game over, Chiefs 0-1. Against the Eagles, as good as the Eagles have been, not so much offensively, but defensively. Now you're driving down the field, got some momentum, This is where Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs really capitalize. Travis Kelce bats the ball up in the air. Instead of a touchdown, it's an interception taken 60 yards the other way. Chiefs are 0-2. Then you feel that things are starting to click a little bit. Can go over 500. And then in Jacksonville, man, the offense looks good for a period of time. You feel you're just about to bury them. Then Patrick Mahomes throws a pick six to Devin Lloyd. And then, you have the game-winning drive. Defense can get a stop here. I mean, it's Trevor Lawrence, right? Trevor Lawrence marches down the field, falls over his own feet, and still finds a way into the end zone. That's your third loss of the season. Then Buffalo. Buffalo, they've beaten them 3 times in a row in the regular season, I believe it was. Maybe it was even 4. I can't quite recall. Give Patrick Mahomes the ball back late in the game. He'll find a way to win this one. Didn't. Denver, same exact story. So today, you didn't have much confidence that it was all of a sudden going to flip. But when you look at these two quarterbacks on paper, and the Colts, really overachieving this year at 8-2, I thought they've been phenomenal, so well coached. They are going to be a tough out in January. But when you look at these two quarterbacks and what these organizations have done over the last handful of years, your first thought, if you didn't see those previous 5 losses, would be, Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way to overcome 20-9, and Daniel Jones will just pee down his leg in the fourth quarter. And I didn't think he really crumbled. They were playing it very safe. As one would say, they were playing not to lose. There were no kill shots from the Colts in the fourth quarter. It was basically, don't turn it over, hold field position, and hope that the defense gets one more turnover. That was after Kareem Hunt had fumbled. I mean, you could tell the way they were scheming against that Chiefs defense. Running plays out of the shotgun, and then quick play actions to the sideline where they pick up 3 or 4 yards. And if it was 4th and 5 or less, didn't matter. 4th down at all, we're punting. We are playing field position there. And that's what you didn't see from Denver, what you didn't see from Buffalo. They had their kill shots. And even though the Chiefs are not what they once were, you got to have that kill shot in your repertoire, and I didn't feel that Indianapolis had that in the fourth quarter. Going to do our locker room report real quick here and hear from Chris Jones. Thought he had his best game of the season. Without further ado, here's number 95.
Yeah, it was a critical point in the game. We was backed up. Well, they were backed up. We just had created a turnover. Kareem fumbled. And for me, it's just about keeping the fans in tune, giving that momentum, making it loud, creating chaos. And also, it energizes the defense, I think energy is contagious, so you got to continue to promote it, especially critical moments like that in a game.
What pleases you most, Chris, about the way you guys followed Jonathan today?
I kind of knew it was going to happen. If you look at the track record throughout the year at the running backs we played, nobody didn't bust 100 yards over us. I think we had one runner who had 100 yards over us, but as in stopping the run, we were committed to stopping the run, and then we were able to get after the quarterback.
Chris, you might have preferred to win by more, but I mean, in the end, is it good for you guys to win a game this way, have it play out like this, having to come back and have a gritty end?
A win is a win, man. We'll take it. Listen, winning in this league is so tough, and especially when you play those type of caliber teams that you may see in February. It's tough, and the margin for error is like that. So, we was able to pull off a good win against a great team today, and look at film, move forward. We got a tough team coming up in Thursday in Dallas. So.
Chris, it seemed like you guys all came alive, so to speak, in the third quarter, changing the fourth quarter. I guess you say why that happened.
I mean, momentum is high, man. It's a sense of urgency in the building, especially where we want to go as a team. I think everyone feels that, everyone knows that, and for us, it's about continue to keep each other going.
Did you feel like, you've been in a lot of seasons, right? Did this feel must-win to you guys, knowing where you sit in the standings and how much of a swing any one of these games could be for your ultimate fortune?
Well, we're sitting at 5-5. We got 7 games left. The top teams of our division is like 9-2, right? So I think it's a must-win, because if we lose this game, we go to 5-6. Our playoff chances at 23%. Then we got a tough schedule coming up. So I think this was a must-win game. I think we got to take it like that throughout the end of the season as a team. These games are important for seeding and also for securing a spot in the playoffs.
Chris, the last night you guys had, I believe it was 3rd and 2. You and Tranquil come in to the middle to stop the run. Just what did you see on that play? Was there some tendency that you noticed where they might go with it?
I can't really spill too much on our defense, but Spag do a really, really good job of moving us around and getting me in spaces to make plays. We just, for us today, we executed at a high level on all phases of the defense. Gave up a few big runs, but it's okay.
Hey Chris, when it was 20-9 and you walked on the field in the 4th quarter, Patrick credited the energy of the crowd and you kind of got that going. How did you feel about the energy when you walked on the field before you started to kind of rile them up?
Well, it's a momentum shifter, especially when a turnover is created. Everyone is kind of looking like, what's going on? And the crowd is like, but keeping everyone in tune in the game. And then we as players, we're able to feed off of that crowd yelling, showing their support. And things tend to happen. Great things tends to happen for us when the crowd, everyone is hyped,
Just consider you are in must-win mode now, probably for the rest of the season. I guess how quickly do you have to turn the page to Thursday, just considering it's so short?
I think like tonight, I'm gonna rest a little bit and watch a little film on Dallas. I'm gonna watch the game. I think they play at like 3:30, 3:35 or something like that. I'm gonna watch the game so I can get ahead of the schedule. And we come in tomorrow, watch a little more football, and prepare for Dallas.
The one time the Tails kind of got you guys was that 3rd and short early in the 3rd quarter. You got that 27-yard run. Then overtime, was it a similar look they gave you? Did they run a similar play since that's when they got successful?
So with that play, it was 3rd and short, and the quarterback was on the center, and we play sneak defense, as in quarterback sneak. So everyone was crunching in, and he was able to break away from the outside because he ran it to the right and bounced it. So, and there's holes in every defense that you run, He was able to find a hole and he was able to break free. But we was playing sneak. We was thinking the quarterback sneak, so everyone was crushed in.
But did you learn something from that helped you on the overtime side?
We didn't play sneak again. I guess we learned something. That speaks for itself.
Couple more. Hey Chris, how important was it for you to show up individually as a team leader defensively in this particular game?
I think for me personally, I got to show up the rest of these games in playoff counting. I'm my biggest critic. For me, I was able to take some time off during the bye week, self-evaluation, what I could do better, and what I have been doing, self-evaluating myself and see what I can do better. And for me, it's about taking it to practice and transitioning to the game.
Chris described this as exactly what we needed. I guess you feel the same way, and so is why.
Excuse me?
Pat described the game as this is exactly the type of game you need to win. Do you feel the same way on the defensive side?
Well, I would rather take it in a different way, but adversity builds character. We got to see the character of our team today, offense, defense, and also special teams. When you face a good team and in critical situations, you're down going in the 4th quarter, we might be familiar with that along the season. So for us to pull together as a team and to overcome whatever adversity it was and to beat these guys, I think we needed that as a team, definitely for sure.
Last one.
Yeah, Chris, kind of going off that last question, seeing each kind of facet of the game make plays, offensively get comebacks, score late, defense gets off to the buck rate and 5 field goals. How big is it to kind of see everybody make plays, knowing it's kind of like you said, win now mode, the rest of the way?
It's something we can build off of as a team. It's something we're going to need to continue to do as a team in order to win these games. We've got a lot of tough teams coming along, and it's going to take every phase of the game to win, whether it's special teams, offense, defense, and we was able to pull it together today. So that's a great building point. We just got to be consistent with it, build off of it and continue to build off of it. So y'all take care.
All right, Chris Jones was our locker room report, which is brought to you by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, whatever you do, if you're a Missourian, we're for you. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got you covered. Before we hit break, come back and give you some Patrick Mahomes audio. Going to go around the league and give you some scores. Also might have some player audio coming up a little bit later on in the show. We've got our very own Steven St. John out there, so I know he's been talking with a few guys in the locker room. I'm sure an upbeat locker room following their 23-20 win in overtime against the Indianapolis Colts. The other overtime game today was in Detroit. The Lions, like the Chiefs, stormed back to beat the 2-9 Giants, who are now, I believe, officially eliminated from playoff contention. Jahmyr Gibbs scored on the first play in overtime. Such an explosive back, and had been quiet the last couple of weeks, it felt like, but came through in a big way. The Lions now grabbed their 7th win of the season. The Packers took care of the Vikings 23-6 at Lambeau Field. Seahawks were in a close one somewhat. The Titans really had that backdoor cover, but the Seahawks only win 30-24 in Nashville. Titans still looking for that second win this season. Ravens win their 5th straight. They beat the Jets at home in Baltimore 23-10. Patriots won one close against Cincinnati on the road. Had a pick 6 in this one, and were down 10-0 early on, but Drake made the Patriots now 10-2, first place in the AFC. They get it done 26-10. Bears, despite a negative point differential, are now 8-3 following their 31-28 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were led today by Mason Rudolph due to the injury to Aaron Rodgers. As for scores that are currently happening right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are demolishing the Cowboys in Dallas 21-0. I know a lot of Chiefs fans are keeping their eyes on that one, as they will see the Cowboys coming up in a few days on Thanksgiving. Falcons up 10-7 on the Saints with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Halftime in Vegas, Browns and Shedeur Sanders, his first NFL start, leading 14-3, and the Cardinals up 14-10 on the Jaguars. Another game that Chiefs fans will have their eye on all afternoon long. Let's take a quick break, come back, and we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes on the Red and Gold Postgame Show on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
as the dynasty has been questioned. Is there a changing of the guard? Is it shifting? It's looked like it at times today, the last 2 weeks. But they're not done yet, and they should go for 2, and they are.
Boy, Kareem Hunt doing his best. Marcus Allen up and over, and now for 2 to trim it to a field goal deficit. If you make it. Mahomes got it to Rice.
And that was the Andy Reid call of the game, which is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, a proud supporter of Cars for Heroes and giving back to those in need. ShamrockRoofer.com. The Red and Gold Postgame Show is also presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction and presented by Boda Box Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Boda Box, the ultimate tailgate wine. We are now going to hear from the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs in Patrick Mahomes. And this was a game that I feel for 3 quarters, right? 3 quarters that he would tell you it was very comparable to the last 2 losses. But then in the 4th quarter and in overtime, you got vintage Patrick Mahomes. And that's all it took, along with the defense, to come out victorious 23-20. And it's just one. But Patrick Mahomes said, we had to get it. That's the one we needed. And it has to be a huge confidence boost for this team. That thanks to the bye week, hadn't won since the Commanders on Monday Night Football. And keep in mind in that game, it was Marcus Mariota that was the quarterback. The week before that, it was the Raiders, who they blanked, shut out. So the last signature win this football team had was against the Lions on Sunday Night Football. And truthfully, the only signature win they've had this season, maybe now that Baltimore's won 5 in a row, do you feel that can be the signature win? Or another signature win? Today, though, absolutely the signature win. And this one tops Detroit for me. Because you had to have it. You lose this game, and your season is all but wrapped up at that point. You could win out, but what confidence would we have tonight if they had lost that game 23-9 or 23-15? Not very much. Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes after the game and started off with the bounce back after having that slow start through the first 3 quarters.
No, yeah, this is exactly what we needed. To win against a really good football team and the game's not going your way, you could have folded in that situation and kind of been kind of the rest of the season. The guys responded and then found a way to win on every single unit. I mean, offense, we found a way at the end. Defense stood tall multiple times to give us chances. And then Harrison and Ariza did a great job flipping the field and making field goals. So we needed a win like this, and now let's just try to build off of it.
Yeah, this is a game you absolutely can build off of it. And I like how he said the defense gave us multiple chances. That's what a leader would say. All right, you're going to deflect a little bit of the credit there. Yes, this offense did find a way to get 14 points in the 4th quarter and in overtime. That's not possible whatsoever if the defense doesn't come up with countless big-time stops on 3rd down. So where was Patrick Mahomes' mentality when playing from behind?
I think, guys, it's kind of an urgency thing. I mean, obviously you want to be urgent, but it was do or die type thing where you had to make something happen, and guys made plays happen throughout the entire team. It wasn't one person. It was everybody. Everybody made plays in the biggest moments, and we found a way to win.
It still feels a little clunky, right? It's not, moving up and down the field like they used to with prime Tyreek Hill and prime Travis Kelce, where you just spot somebody 14 points and you'd beat them by 14. But I did see the stat put out by Josh Dubois on Twitter where Patrick Mahomes, pads his overall record when he's trailing by 10 or more. He's the only quarterback with a winning record when trailing by 10 or more, I believe in the second half maybe. Or maybe it's just 10 points in general, 10-plus points in general. Second on that list, Tim Tebow. in terms of winning percentage. I believe Tebow was 5-6, which is still pretty remarkable when you think about it with how short Tim Tebow's time was in the NFL. Next thing that he dove into was his personal performance, 352 yards through the air, over 380 yards of just total scrimmage yards. But how did he think that he played in the 23-20 win over Indianapolis?
Yeah, I mean, the one in overtime, I thought I did a good job just going through my reads and not just being the quarterback that I need to be for that moment, not trying to do too much. And a couple of those throws, the one to Xavier, not my necessarily first read, but just sitting in the pocket, making the throw. The one to Rashid, kind of similar thing where it wasn't necessarily clean, but just gave a guy a chance to make a play happen. And I got to be that guy in order for us to win, and I thought I did a better job of that today.
There were a couple of missed throws late in the game where you feel like, man, if he's dialed in, he's really on. He's having one of those games. He's not missing any of those throws. That Travis Kelce miss in overtime made your heart drop a little bit. You had that sinking feeling in your stomach of, man, he's just really not on the same page. And you punt it back to Indianapolis, they're only going to need maybe a first down or two to be in field goal range. But he connected with Xavier Worthy shortly after that, had multiple big-time pickups with Rashee Rice. What did Patrick Mahomes think of the receiver's performance? Because, at least for Rashee Rice, it was one hell of a day. Yeah, I mean, it's a guy who stepped up and made plays happen, you know. He's got the mentality of he wants to be great, and he wants to be that guy in that moment. And whenever they had a lot of attention on Travis, I mean, obviously, and to have another guy step up and make plays, Rashee kind of in that fourth quarter and in overtime, and then Xavier as well, you got to have that. And in order for us to get to where we want to be at. You get that version of Rashee Rice, 1 out of every 2 games, you're going to be able to have that success in the back half of this schedule. Just to have somebody that can go over 100 yards, to have that type of threat, to be that explosive, come through on 4th and 3, you feel totally different about this offense. Now, there was some downside even in a win. Trey Smith left with an ankle injury. Worthy was battling an ankle injury, so you're having multiple guys have to step up in time of need. Here was Patrick Mahomes and his teammates battling through those injuries. Yeah, I mean, he wants to be out there, you know. I mean, he's not in the perfect shape right now as far as, the shoulder and then the ankle and the foot and kind of all that different type of stuff. But he's a competitor. He's someone that wants to be on the football field, and so he's going to do whatever he can to make plays happen in the biggest moments. And we called his number there at the end, and he made the play happen. And so that it speaks to him. Just continue to battle him through his injuries, and no one's in the healthiest right now. But at the same time, man, he's dealing with a lot, and he's going out there and still playing good football. You know, he wasn't dealing with an injury today, but man, did Kareem Hunt look gassed in overtime. And he had every right to be. This guy carried the ball 30 times. Fumbled for the first time since 2017, his first NFL carry. But had a touchdown in this one, had a couple of catches. Considering that Kareem Hunt wasn't on an NFL roster a little over a year ago, and he's able to have a 30-carry game, I know he's not the guy that he once was. But Brett Veach didn't trade for a running back because he felt that this collection, this trio, they could get the job done. Now, 3.5 yards a carry isn't going to get it done, but I got nothing for respect for you when you carry the ball 30 times in a game and you get beaten up over and over and over again. Here was Patrick Mahomes on the performance of Kareem Hunt this afternoon. Yeah, I didn't know it was 30, but he's a warrior, man. He truly is. I've known that since the day I met him, and I thought it was awesome to see how he just responded over and over again. If a run got stuffed, the next run he'd get 5-6 yards, battled through tackles, great tackles, and then the offensive line took it upon themselves to get that push that we needed, and that speaks a ton to the people that we have up front, and then him and the way he's able to run the football. Yeah, it was a good job on the interior. Mike Caliendo got pushed back a few times, but I thought Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, when he was in there, really solid. Kingsley Suamataia continues to grow and improve, and Kareem Hunt needed them, desperately needed them to have some effectiveness in carrying the ball 30 times in this one. Overall, with the run game, Patrick Mahomes added 30 himself. Kareem Hunt had over 100 yards rushing there, and then Brashard Smith, I believe, had a carry or two, and it was on an end around on one of those jet sweeps. But here was Patrick Mahomes' thoughts on the running game today in the win.
Yeah, 100%. Whenever you're able to run the football like that, it makes defenses come up, and then you can hit some of these deeper throws down the field that we did at the end there. So it's something we continue to get better at. It's a short week. We got to learn from this film and move on quickly. But I'm glad that we were able to get a win and going into this short week.
They just needed a little bit from the running game today. You needed to see that success after committing to the run. Now, you give somebody the ball 30 times. I mean, I know that's not the recipe for success all the time. Of give the ball to Kareem Hunt 30 times. That's more so for the true bell cow running back. I'd like to see him in the realm of 15 to 20, but you have to have somebody respect the run. Denver didn't respect it whatsoever. And the Chiefs were picking up some yardage. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy, they just didn't want to run the football. And this one, it was almost, overemphasized. Give him the ball over and over again. I just want those runs to be coming from under center. Done with these shotgun handoffs, these shotgun draws on 2nd and long. Nothing drives me crazier than that. Nothing. On one of the final drives of the game, man, was it a big catch from Noah Gray, who actually left on this play and was in concussion protocol. If he doesn't pick that up, want to say it was 4th and 8 or 4th and 10 at that point. Kind of pinned it between his legs. Was able to hang on. That set up the 4th and 3 where Mahomes connected to Rashee Rice for 25, 30-plus yards. He doesn't hang on to that. He doesn't put his body on the line. I'm not sure the Chiefs can run that same play call to Rashee Rice and getting open on kind of a drag route there. So here's Patrick Mahomes on that big catch from Noah Gray in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, no, it was a great play call. I mean, I thought it kind of speaks to what I was talking about with Travis. They did whatever they could to take Travis away because he's kind of that guy in that moment. But it got Rashee open. And so I actually left the ball a little too high, but he showed his athleticism and went up and got it. But thankfully for us, Noah was doing all right. And then we were able to keep going and find a way to get the win.
That was Noah Gray's best game of the season as well. Had a long catch and run in the second half at one point. Had that massive catch to set up the 4th and 3. I thought he did some really good things. He did have the drop, I want to say, on the drive that set up Kareem Hunt's touchdown. It was a really well-thrown ball from Patrick Mahomes, and he was blanketed, basically. He was tightly covered and just glanced off his shoulder pads. Other than that, though, I thought Noah Gray had his best performance in a Chiefs uniform this season. Definitely was the best performance this season for Rashee Rice. We know he was suspended for the first 6 games of the season to put together a total like this. And he did have a touchdown drop. You go for over 140 yards in this one. Multiple big catches to set up the game-tying field goal and the game-winning field goal. I thought about giving him the MVP award. Had to give it to Kareem Hunt, though, today with his 30-carry performance. Here was Patrick Mahomes on Rice's performance.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to catch the ball and make yards after catch. I mean, all of these play calls that he caught, they weren't necessarily he was the first read. We call shots down the field, and they wanted to take the shots away down the field, and you can hit him at 18, 20 yards, and all of a sudden that's 40 yards, that's 30 yards, and then you can hit him on a shallow cross, and he gets the big first down, and gets 10, 15 yards. And so he does a lot. He can beat you on the field, but he also can beat you intermediate, and he's going to continue to get better and better as we continue to get more and more reps this season.
Would love to see 3 or 4 more 100-yard performances from Rashee Rice, because damn does this offense need it. Now, in the 4th quarter, after the fumble, Chiefs were down 11, 0-5 in one-score games, even though that was a 2-score game at that point. What was the feeling with Patrick Mahomes in that offense? Well, here he is on that.
I mean, obviously the energy's not good, but I thought it was really cool to not only see our defense stand tall in that moment. That was a huge drive, and then to stand tall and just kind of take it upon themselves to say, we got to get a stop right now. And then there was like a feeling that you had in Arrowhead. You could see the fans kind of were behind us. Like they didn't kind of hang their heads because it was a fumble. They said that we're going to be with y'all through the end, through this all. And I thought that was really cool. And you could kind of feel that momentum kind of swing in our favor, even after a bad play for us. So I'm glad that happened here because I thought that really did change the outcome of the game.
Yeah, credit to the crowd on that defensive drive when the Colts were backed up inside the 5-yard line thanks to the fumble by Kareem Hunt. If you get half that crowd noise, Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor in the Colts offense might find a way to pick up a first down, and then everything feels out of reach at that point. They couldn't allow a first down in that drive. They would have taken 3 minutes off the clock, and you just didn't have much time at that point, not with the way the offense had been looking. They found a way to win, and here was Patrick Mahomes on simply finding that way to win.
Yeah, 100%. And you can feel the energy. I'm telling you, you can feel the energy of the defense, the stadium, and it was kind of, we're not going to lose this game. We're gonna find a way to win, even though everything hasn't gone our way to this moment. We're going to find a way to get a stop here, get y'all the ball, give y'all another chance. And we were able to make it work, And then even going into the fourth quarter, obviously you want to end with a touchdown. They got a stop, big stop. Defense gets out there immediately, gets a stop for us, and gives us another chance to go down the field. So it was a true team effort, It was a special moment, and I'm glad that we were able to win that game. And now we're going to have to build on that through the rest of the season.
Now, not everybody is in sync, right? You can clearly tell by some of these games. The defense, offense, special teams, they're not all playing their best football. You hope they can in this final 6-game stretch here. But when you find ways to win, you need a little bit of that teamwork, right? You need the defense to come up for you. You need the offense to have that game-winning drive or a drive to ice it. And you need special teams to be good. The defense stepped up today. The offense, when it mattered most, they did. And certainly Harrison Butker did, who was perfect kicking field goals today. There was some concern early on in the year. That was vintage. Harrison Butker today kicked the game winner in overtime as the Chiefs win it 23-20. Here was Patrick Mahomes on the teamwork and Butker's performance.
Yeah, obviously we were backed up, but I thought we did a great job getting the ball down the field and guys making big plays. And then just knowing that we just got to get into field goal range and be across midfield and having all the trust in the world in Harrison to win the game for us. And so we got it down there close, and we felt really good. And obviously sent Harrison out there, and he did a great job making the field goal.
Now, I thought Harrison Butker was really good for the special teams unit. Other than that, another blunder from them. Multiple penalties. How are you getting holding penalties on fair catches? To me, and I'm not going to act like I'm some special teams guru here. I'm simply viewing the game and talking about the game. I get it when a punt return busts open, you get 40, 50 yards, there might have been a holding there. Well, yeah, the play opened up because there was a hold. If you're holding when there's a fair catch, it means you're getting your ass kicked to the line of scrimmage and you're trying to catch up to them. And how many times on kickoff return and punt return is it called back? And Nico Remigio ain't going anywhere either. Wasn't in this game and still getting penalized. That's what frustrates you. Those constant mistakes. That has to be cleaned up. I don't want to hear that we're going to clean that up. Just get it fixed. Whether it's a Dave Tobe situation or it's an Andy Reid situation, here was Patrick Mahomes on the special teams and some of those personal mistakes that he had.
No, I thought Coach Rennerimbo did a great job covering some of our deep stuff, especially early in the game. And he has a good feel for what we do, and you have to keep pushing. You can't compound mistakes. And obviously, the first mistake happens, throwing the ball. I felt like Rasheed was open, and I just got the ball tipped and intercepted and hurt us. But I wasn't going to let that affect how I was going to play the game. So I was going to take shots when they were there, and if they're going to cover them up, throw it to guys underneath and let them make plays happen. And I think throwing it, especially early in the game, it got their defense to step up, and then we were able to hit some shots on the field later in the game.
Now, it's just one win. It snaps a 2-game losing streak. Patrick Mahomes in the regular season has still never lost 3 games in a row. But you're 6-5. Dallas and Jerry's World on Thursday, Thanksgiving primetime whiteout. Get a little bit more momentum moving forward. You find a way to win that one. And by the way, the Cowboys, last time I checked, were getting thumped by the Philadelphia Eagles and through the air, which is kind of odd for Jalen Hurts. But Cowboys and that defense getting thumped, if Chiefs can go in there, the Chiefs, I should say, go in there and find a way to win that one, man, Dylan, 7-5, coming back home, Sunday Night Football against the team that you're chasing in the playoff picture, that feels like momentum's kind of getting on your side. Here was Patrick Mahomes on that momentum going forward.
Yeah, we're still not where we want to be at, but this was big, getting that win against a really good football team. Kind of proving it to ourselves that we can play this kind of football game where it's not always pretty. And I think now he's going to build up that momentum. It's going to be a short week. We're playing a good team in the Cowboys, and they can score some points, and they got a lot of great players. And so it's about rebounding fast, trying to be better, even better this next week, going into a big environment, a big game, and trying to get that win. It's going to be a lot of fun going to Dallas and getting to play on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, cool for Patrick Mahomes, too. First time playing on Thanksgiving also. It's his first time playing in Dallas. He's a Texas guy at the end of the day. I went to Texas Tech, played high school ball in Texas, I'm sure he watched a lot of Cowboys games growing up. This is his first chance to do it, and what a cool thing it is that you get that old school Thanksgiving game in Dallas. And you're coming off this one. Now, I'm not expecting it to be a close game either way. There's a little sneak peek for you. I think either Dallas wins comfortably or the Chiefs win this one comfortably. Maybe I'm being too aggressive with that take there.
Well, you said it's a rarity for Jalen Hurts to be throwing for that much, but it's not a rarity for Dallas's secondary to be giving up that much.
No. So I feel either the Chiefs have a horrific performance and the Cowboys win this one by 10 or more, or the Chiefs look really good and they win by 10 or more in Dallas. Lastly, here was Patrick Mahomes on finally winning one of those close games.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in these games. All 5 of our losses, I felt like these games where there was plays here and there that we didn't make, and we could have won all of them, and we didn't. And until you prove it, you can talk about it all day, but until you prove it, it's not going to happen. And so we were able to prove that we can win a game like this, where it's not always going great, where multiple guys got to step up, and then you can make the big plays in the big moments, and I thought our guys did that. So hopefully we can build off that as we go through the rest of the season.
All right, that was Patrick Mahomes after the game, a 23-20 win in overtime against the now 8-3 Indianapolis Colts. Up next, the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving in Dallas. And a reminder, real quick before we hit a break, we will not have a Red and Gold postgame show on Thanksgiving. We will have that day off, of course, but still, I'm sure everybody's going to be thrilled eating some good food, whether you do Thanksgiving food or you do a substitute for it, and watching the Chiefs actually play on Thanksgiving, and you're going to get it later on in the year, too, when they play on Christmas night against the Denver Broncos. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Red and Gold postgame show on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
5 down. Here we go. Someone's got to win one-on-one.
Mahomes passes, and it's caught. What a catch by Rice. Now spins around Ward and falls at the 25. It wasn't the easiest of catches for 18 and a first down.
You have a great stunt. You're going to loop around, rush this, but guess what? Here comes Rice across the field. Wasn't the easiest catch, but Mahomes throws it a little soft so he could actually make it.
And that was the Mahomes magic play, which is brought to you by Zentex Bath and Remodeling. Zentex Remodeling can transform your bath in just one day. Save $999 or choose 0% interest financing. Mention WHB and get a free Kohler toilet with purchase. Visit Zentex.com. That's Zintex.com. You're listening to the Red and Gold Postgame Show, which is presented by Boda Box Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Boda Box, the ultimate tailgate wine. We're also presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, a proud supporter of Cars for Heroes and giving back to those in need. ShamrockRoofer.com. Just heard from Patrick Mahomes, and if you missed any of that, you can always check it out on the podcast page after the show. And now it's time to hear from the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. And let's kick it off with the opening statement from Big Red.
All right. Great effort. Appreciate the fans. They were phenomenal this afternoon. Loud, which was important, especially down the stretch there. And there was still some blue up there, and they just rounded them out, which was great. As far as the injuries go, Trey Smith hurt his ankle. Caliendo came in and did a nice job for him, but we'll see how it is as days go forward. Roland Wallace hurt his lower back. Again, we'll just see how it goes this week. And then Noah got hit in the head, and so he'll go through evaluations there. So we'll see how that goes. I thought both offense and defense did a great job. Special teams came through when we needed them. And we had a few penalties there that we got to clean up. Likewise, on the offensive side, we had some penalties there that we got to take care of. Again, in crucial situations. The one positive on that was the guys kept going, kept punching, and we were able to kind of smooth it out a little bit and get rid of some of the mistakes, and did a great job there. I thought Spags had a nice plan defensively against one of the best offenses in the National Football League, one of the top offenses, and then Nags had a phenomenal plan. Both of them did a great job calling the plays and knocking that out. It was tremendous. So, and then individual efforts. I mean, Kareem, was dusted off and got over 100 yards, which is incredible. I'm proud of him for that. Rice, over 100 yards, 141 yards. 2-point conversion was huge there. Kels had a big day with some big catches there. And then Pat was on fire for a 300-yard game. So Xavier, likewise, played his tail off out there. He had a little bit of a sore ankle, and he just battled through it. Did a nice job. And then defensively, the yardage, when you start looking at the yardage here and the time of possession, they didn't have the ball much, and because the defense was getting the guys off the field and onward. So I was proud of that. Tranquil had a couple of nice stops there, one in overtime in particular. Anyway, all the 2 for 4 in the red zone. I mean, it goes on and on. 5 or 12 for third downs, and then Bucker ended it. He had 5 field goals today, and then a big one right there at the end. We tried to, we were able to get it in there, not because of him. And we were confident that he can kick it out further, but we were kind of dual rolling it, using up some time in case something were to happen. We wouldn't give them much time there, and then finish the game off with the win. So with that time,
yeah, it really felt like Kansas City was on the ropes at that point. I mean, taking body blows, uppercuts. I mean, they were really, really on the edge there of their entire season. Their season was hanging in the balance. They're bloodied up, and as Andy Reid said, punched their way off. They were able to throw some punches, tie that game up, and win in overtime. Couldn't have done it without the defense and the performance in the fourth quarter and overtime of Patrick Mahomes, and he does credit the play calling of Matt Nagy. Here was Andy Reid on both of those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he kept firing, which the great ones do. Nagy's dialed up some stuff, and I thought just we're right in his wheelhouse, and he did a great job with all that. And Joe Blameyer, and I mean, all the guys contributed on it, but the coordinator was on fire today, so he did a good job.
I don't know if I go as far to say on fire. I mean, 23 points and overtime isn't really on fire. But we know Andy Reid's going to give credit to his guys when he feels like they deserve the credit. And after all, a win is a win. Patrick Mahomes did light it up late in the game, was able to connect with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy multiple times, and you need your big players to make big-time moments. Speaking of Rashee Rice, over 140 receiving yards today, no touchdowns, but still, without his numbers, no chance the Chiefs have any chance of getting back into this game. Here was Andy Reid on Rashee Rice.
Yeah, he's real good. Yeah, he's a great player. They all are. I mean, they've all got potential to do great things. But listen, we're glad he's back, and he's big and he's strong, fast, all that stuff. Tough to bring down. He pushed through. He was tired there, so he pushed through, and I thought he did a nice job.
You could tell a lot of guys were tired at the end of that game, which doesn't bode well for a short week. You've heard about the injuries, Trey Smith, Chris Rowland-Wallace, Noah Gray. You got a short week, and not only were you banged up, you just looked exhausted after that game. But you're dealing with some adversity, and it's a hell of a lot easier to deal with adversity when you win a football game. And maybe nobody was more exhausted at the end than Kareem Hunt. Here was Andy Reid on that run game and the offensive line's performance.
Yeah, I thought the line was controlling things there pretty good, and which was important. We were getting positive yards on first down, which was good. We ran a little bit on second down, likewise. And Coach Heck puts all that together. I mean, that's his deal. So he did a great job schematically with it, and they were dialed up, and the guys executed.
We always know the offense is going to be the first thing we look at, especially in a game like this. Like 23-20, they look good. Did they give their team a chance to win? Well, late, yes. I thought for 80% of that game, the defense stole the show. I mean, the defense really came up with some big-time plays. You got a great effort from Chris Jones. We've talked about him more than a few times on the postgame show. I thought Drew Tranquill was really good. A couple guys in the secondary made some big plays, Jalen Watson being one of them. Here was Andy Reid on the overall performance of Spags' defense.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was great. That helped win the game for us, right? So, and like I said, the part I liked the best was the support of the guys gave each other. And I thought that was important. Nobody flinched on it. It wasn't hanging their head. None of that wasn't happening. They came out and they played, and they did it when it counted.
Yeah, when it counted, they showed up. And I just have to go back one Red and Gold postgame show, and we were talking about they can't get the big stop when it matters. They cannot get off the field. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. Well, how about this? 3rd and 1 in overtime, and they stuffed Jonathan Taylor for a loss of 3. And speaking of Jonathan Taylor, on the day, 16 carries for 58 yards, 3.6 yards a carry. If you're wondering how that stacks up for the rest of the year, there's only been 5 times, I guess a lot more than I thought, that he has been held under 100. Keep in mind, he was coming off of 244 yards against the Atlanta Falcons. He does always make an impact, too, in the receiving game. But today, 3 targets, had only 2 catches for 8 yards. It is the second lowest total he has had. The lowest was against Pittsburgh when he ran for just 45 yards on 14 carries, had a long of 9. Today, his long was 27, but doesn't that tell the story? So in his 15 other carries, he had only 31 yards. Only one time did Jonathan Taylor really burn you. Defense was great against him. Here was Andy Reid on going up against one of the best running backs in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a great player now. One of Wisconsin's finest right there, man. He's a heck of a football player. So our guys did a nice job of wrapping him up. You saw a couple of those where he bounces off, and then he's had quite a few of those this season and per game. So yards after the contact. So you've got to really focus on wrapping him up and getting him on the ground. I thought our guys did that and did it well.
Mark Bowichter this morning on the Central Bank pregame show was saying one of the keys to the game, make Daniel Jones beat you. And Daniel Jones was beating you for 3 quarters. And he wasn't getting much from Jonathan Taylor. But that still doesn't mean you change up your game plan completely, because if they would have shifted to, well, we got to stop Daniel Jones and not so much worry about Jonathan Taylor, well, Jonathan Taylor would have run wild. But they kept the focus. They were able to shut him down in overtime, and that's what matters most. Less than 60 yards on the ground for arguably the best running back in football this season. Maybe not even arguably. He is the best running back in football this season, numbers-wise. Already over 1,000 yards rushing. Lastly, Andy Reid talked about playing through these injuries and having the positive attitude in a game like this.
Yeah, that's the part I appreciate as a coach the most, just the attitude. It's a compliment to the players, it's a compliment to the coaches, and support from our building. Nobody has been hanging their head going, oh no, it's over. That's not been the mentality within our building. So that's everybody. Everybody had a piece of that. And it carried over to the field.
All right, that was Andy Reid after the Chiefs' 23-20 win in overtime against the Colts. Up next, the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got some player audio for you on the Red and Gold Postgame Show on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
of it. He went two-man. They usually have a safety drop into the middle. And by not dropping him into the middle, you left the middle wide open for the first time that I've seen in 2-3 quarters. And Mahomes finds it to Rice. Too safe. This is a call on that one, and they took advantage.
And that big connection, Patrick Mahomes to Rashee Rice, was showing you that Patrick Mahomes made the right choice, which is brought to you by Choice Solutions. Make the right choice today by going to choicesolutions.com for their trusted IT consulting and managed services. You are tuning in to the Red and Gold Postgame Show, which is presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, a proud supporter of Cars for Heroes and giving back to those in need. ShamrockRoofer.com. Also presented by Bodabox Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Bodabox, the ultimate tailgate wine. Gonna hop on the phone lines and talk with our guy Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Well, for starters, Matt, in the fourth quarter after Kareem Hunt had fumbled, Chiefs down 20-9, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute most confident you could be, what was your confidence level the Chiefs were going to find a way to come back and win that one?
I almost, because I don't know, I don't think you and I have gotten in one of these conversations. We need to. Every once in a while I have a conversation, Dylan knows this, that is dictated entirely by gifts. And I sometimes do that on Twitter, and I was getting ready to tweet out the end of Ferris Bueller, with Ferris Bueller saying, it's over, go home. Because I thought that might be the season right there. And then I thought, I probably shouldn't, because it's not over quite yet. So I'm going to hold off. But I mentioned on Twitter and social media that you could hear a pin drop right after that fumble. There was a timeout. The stadium, they weren't playing any music at that point. You could literally just hear people breathing. It was that quiet. And I'm not sure I've heard this place that quiet in a long, long time. And what made it even more impressive is that this crowd stayed. I mean, it wasn't like it was a half-empty stadium or anything. This place was still full in overtime. And I was really, maybe it makes sense. It's probably a noon game. People are hanging in there. But I tell you what, this crowd, nobody seemed to give up. I know a lot of people online were talking about giving up and the season's over. But I don't think anybody in this stadium gave up, and certainly the Chiefs didn't. But, yeah, I don't know about you. I thought it was grim. I mean, not like I said, I was one click away from calling it the end of the season right there.
Well, Matt, in these 5 losses, right, in almost every single one of them, we've been asking, when is that big drive going to happen? When is Patrick Mahomes going to be Patrick Mahomes and lead them down the field for a game-winning kick or a game-winning touchdown? I thought it was interesting. In the postgame, he basically said something along the lines of, yeah, we needed that one. We absolutely needed that one. And I wonder, Matt, if this is that type of game that catapults you the rest of the way. Am I being overzealous here, being too dramatic about one win? But I don't know. The way they came back and beat a team like Indianapolis, you feel really good about how this sets up in the back half of their schedule.
It really does, because, yes, this team, it needed a win like this for its psyche and for its confidence. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They needed to be reminded that they are still this kind of team, that they can get the ball late in the game, facing a deficit, go down the field and get the score that they need to tie or win it. I thought that I thought there was a chance they just missed their chance with not being able to score. You got a 1st and goal at the 2, and gosh, that just is like, just punch the ball in, get the win, and go off from there. And when they got stopped and had to settle for the field goal to tie it up, I thought, man, you just hope that one's not going to cost them. But the way that they then came back to win it in overtime, once again, getting another stop with the defense in the fourth quarter and overtime, you guys have probably talked about it. I think they only gave up 18 yards to this Colts team, the number 1 offense in the NFL, in the fourth quarter and overtime. I think they had some help from some very weird play calling from the Colts. But that being said, they got the job done. And then the offense, last week, in Denver, they had an opportunity. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball with 4 minutes left, and you think, okay, this is the chance that he can just go down there and be Patrick Mahomes and put this thing away, and the Broncos never see the ball again, and didn't do that. Tonight, did it twice. Today, did it twice. I mean, had the drive in regulation to send it to overtime, and then overtime to put it away. And he made Patrick Mahomes plays. There were a couple of misses in the fourth quarter and overtime. I think this is a little bit of just trying to force some things, but I thought that was better than what we saw a little bit maybe the first half and maybe even the third quarter, where after that early turnover, I thought he'd been a little bit timid. But in the fourth quarter, overtime, that was classic Patrick Mahomes right there.
We're talking with Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com here on the Red and Gold Postgame Show. You bring up the play calling a little bit, and the thought that ran through my mind when Indianapolis was not giving it to Jonathan Taylor, and you saw some of these quick check downs and very conservative play action calls, it felt like they were playing not to lose. Is that the sense that you got from them? Because I thought, man, when you got a guy like Jonathan Taylor, you've got that opportunity for a kill shot, and they just tried to catch the Chiefs napping and trying to pass the ball, and it was not successful whatsoever.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were trying to play the game not to lose or they were trying for a knockout punch. I mean, I could see that they're thinking to themselves, wait a minute, we can't win this game by just a field goal. I mean, if we want to declare to the rest of the league that the Colts are for real and that they're here, you can't just, sneak by the Chiefs. You want to put them down. And maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they were just trying to cruise this game, put this game away, put it on ice, and win by 10 points. Did not work that way. But then again, I also think that the Chiefs stole their lunch money a little bit because they were gun shy. They were afraid to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor in the fourth quarter, and that. One, it's a compliment to the Chiefs defense. Tells you just, how well that they played today, that they intimidated the Colts into doing that. But two, I mean, I think it's a bad sign for the Colts going forward because if they don't have the faith that they can run the football and that Jonathan Taylor can run over people in the fourth quarter, what are they going to do next time they're in that spot? I mean, I think they've got some problems from what happened here today. Let's see what happens. But I think that was a great situation for the Chiefs. I mean, obviously, I think it enabled them a little bit to be able to get that comeback. But the fact that, hey, the Colts tried to play it that way, and maybe they were trying to take the Chiefs by surprise, they didn't. And kudos to the Chiefs. I have to give it to them because of the way that they shut down Taylor today, that was very, very impressive.
Now, on the flip side, the other running back in this game, Kareem Hunt, carried the ball 30 times. I've said multiple times on the show, he looked gassed at the very end. And how could you not be? I mean, anybody gets the ball 30 times in the game and you're getting beat up as much as he was, you're going to be worn out. Now, I wonder, though, going into Thursday's game, what the health of Isaiah Pacheco may look like, because I doubt they're going to be able to give him the ball 30 times against Dallas just because it's a short week. You feel a bit more banged up, you're a little bit more tired, and you want to keep these guys fresh. But, Matt, did it not feel like the Chiefs coaching staff heard all of the complaints of, why are you not running the football? Why can't you keep it simple? And they just took it to another level of, fine, we're going to give somebody 30 carries in this game.
Yeah, I kind of facetiously, I thought that Andy Reid might just come into his post-game presser and just say, hey, what do you think about that? Y'all happy with that now? You got your 41 carries. Are you okay with that? Yeah, but it was something that they had to do. I mean, Jack, absolutely had to, because that interception on the second play of the game was entirely because the Colts had no respect for the Chiefs' run game. They tried to run an RPO. Nobody fell for the run because they know the Chiefs aren't running an RPO. It's just a fake. There's no reason to pay any mind to it. And the linebacker read it perfectly. Says, yeah, I'm not going to bite on the run because that's just eye candy. Plays the throw perfectly and gets the turnover. And that's why, I mean, the Chiefs have been facing light boxes all season. Teams have been daring them to run the football. And, yes, the fact that Kareem ended up with 3.5 yards a carry, a little bit of that was just fatigue. I mean, I think he was a little bit more efficient than that today because he did have a couple of breakaway runs or at least some big chunk plays. And let's face it, Kareem at this point in his career, he's not a guy that's going to go for 75 yards. I mean, if Kareem can break off 18, I think that's ecstatic. So he was just punishing today. And, yeah, I think that this should be an indication that I'm assuming Pacheco is going to be available on Thursday, because I don't know if you want to give Kareem the ball 30 times and then have him come back and handle all the duty again 4 days later. But they need to find some other help. I mean, Clyde obviously got a few touches today. They still need to get Brashard Smith the ball. They had that one play to him that got kind of wiped out a little bit by the penalty. But That play looked for a second like, if Rashard might just take it all away. And that's the threat with that guy, is that he's more explosive than anybody else they have in that backfield.
We're talking with Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Matt, last one for you here. Really appreciate your time. Is this going to be the game that every other AFC team looks at as that should have been the kill shot on the Chiefs, right? If you were able to hang on in the fourth quarter up 11, that was going to be the time to put him down, because it's now possible that they can get really hot at the absolute wrong time for everybody else in the AFC. Is it going to be this one, or is there maybe a game down the road that people will be looking back at?
I mean, Thursday's going to be a big one for me, because if the Chiefs can get 2 wins in 4 days, then I think you are going to have a lot of teams around the league that are like, well, wait a minute, the Chiefs are back here. That's a problem. And they need to keep this going. I mean, there's no doubt. I think until maybe they get 3 in a row is before teams are going to be, I think, really frightened, because at this point they're down there. I mean, they've got some work to do. They even going 6-1 might not be guaranteed to get them into the playoffs. 5-2 probably certainly won't get them into the playoffs. So you're right. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of playoff contenders around the league today that we're going to be rooting for the Colts, and you're going to look at this and see that they blew an 11-point lead late and just be like, dang, that was the chance to knock the Chiefs out of this thing. So they're still alive, and I mean, but let's face it. I mean, they pretty much have to win at least every AFC game left. The Dallas game, they need it, but it's actually the one game that they could afford to lose. But I think you want to keep the momentum going. You need to get to 7-5. You need to beat the Texans, and if you beat the Texans, then I think it's going to be okay. The Chiefs are probably going to be making the playoffs, so now you just got to deal with them.
All right, Matt. Well, appreciate your time as always. You have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you the week after.
Sounds great, Jack. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving out there. Be careful.
There he goes, the great Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, giving you his insight after the Chiefs took down the Colts in overtime, 23-20. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from 2 Chiefs players, recorded by our very own Stephen St. John on the Red and Gold Postgame Show on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
to the goal, from there to the run, first down.
That was a hold-your-breath moment, but you'll see right there, he grabs Thornton's face mask Ward right there. Kelsey with the option route going right there. He's like, that's it. That's how we do it.
Travis with a couple of catches on this drive.
And that was the sweet play of the game, which is brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Stop by Andy's Frozen Custard, grab an 87 concrete, and help Travis's 87 and running foundation with every purchase. Do good while eating deliciousness. Andy's, top your day with a smile. And you're tuned into the Red and Gold Postgame Show, which is presented by Boda Box Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Boda Box, the ultimate tailgate wine. We're also presented by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, a proud supporter of Cars for Heroes and giving back to those in need. ShamrockRoofer.com. We've got two players that we're going to hear from, courtesy of our very own Stephen St. John. You can get his thoughts on the game coming up in about 12 hours or so. He'll have plenty to break down. He was out there at Arrowhead Stadium. He had the chance to get some audio from Leo Chenal and also Trent McDuffie. So let's start it off here with Leo Chenal, who Stephen St. John caught up with in the locker room.
I mean, we just knew we had to take some shots there. Chris had incredible movement there on that 3rd and 1, and we were able to get a negative play and get off the field. But we knew we had to be downhill against a great runner and give our offense a chance.
Drew, what's it mean to win this game this way?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, we're down 11, I think, in the fourth quarter. Coming off 2 tough losses. We've got a really good team in our place, and we're not playing as a team the way we want to be playing. Coach Reid earlier this week's like, just give me the focus on these 2 games. We'll recalibrate after the mini-bye. And so we knew we had to have this one. And the resolve of our team there in the fourth quarter, I think, speaks a lot to the guys, the character we have in this locker room.
You mentioned down 11. What was the sense of urgency in those moments where you guys were down 11 and the season might be on the line?
I mean, it's the same urgency I think we've had all week and all game. We knew we had to get the ball back to the offense. We knew they'd make the plays in the end of the day. And, the urgency's there.
Just the challenge of Jonathan Taylor.
He's a great back. I mean, he's having a historic season. He's strong. He's really a great back in all aspects. He can protect. He can run. He's good in the passing game. And so he presents a lot of different threats. And he's a player you kind of got to take away.
And how were you guys able to do that today?
Well, I mean, we bottled him up for the most part. I mean, he's very good. He's patient behind the line and waits for guys to kind of get out of their gaps. I thought guys held their gaps really good today. He had the one on the dip-o play where Quentin got outside and kind of led the way there on our corner. But outside of that run, I thought we did a pretty good job on him.
What was it about do you feel like the aggressiveness is why you guys were able to get 4 consecutive 3rd downs? Just you guys sort of getting on the attack?
I mean, I don't think it's the aggressiveness because guys just made plays. Like, we had back-end guys breaking up passes. Like, that's not the call. That's just guys making plays. We had guys getting downhill in the run game. And so we were just able to make the plays today that we needed to win. And we weren't able to do that last week or the week before.
Drew, when you said that about recalibrate after you win this, is that sort of what it feels like coming off the field? Like, I don't know if relief's the right word, but are you already feeling like you're resetting by having this win?
Well, we got to reset quickly because we got a game here in 3 or 4 days. But we knew we had to have this one. Obviously, last week did not go how we wanted it. We know we're 500. We know we're not in the playoff race right now, and we know we have 7 games left. And so we got to take one game at a time. I love the message that Alex Whittingham shared last night. He shared a message that Roger Federer shared. He said in his he won 80% of his matches, I think, and of the points in that match, he won 54% of the points. And so it's like a 50-50 margin. We had to focus on play after play, game after game, and can't get too far ahead of ourselves. So it was good.
All right, that was Leo Chenal with our very own Stephen St. John Drew Tranquil. Sorry, I think I said Leo Chenal earlier. I meant Drew Tranquil. He was there in the locker room. Stephen St. John was there in a media scrum. So good stuff there after the Chiefs' 23-20 win over the Indianapolis Colts. Also caught up with the number 1 quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Trent McDuffie. Here he is.
So what was the sense of urgency when you guys were down 20-9? It's late in the game, and maybe the season's on the line.
I mean, we just knew as a group that we had to rise up to the occasion, you know. I think it's a big testament to these guys in this locker room to come back and not be defeated when we were down and to rally in overtime and come out with the win. So it's a big testament to just everybody together.
Jacoby's running back like Taylor. I know it takes a whole team effort to slow him down, and you guys held him to under 60 yards, and he's on a record-breaking pace. Tell me a little bit about what the game plan was and how you were able to stop him.
Sure, that's the front 7 right there. I mean, I'm on my outside, but they did a great job at stopping him. I think the big thing for us was just swarm tackling, get as many guys as you can around him to get him down because he's really good back and he breaks out of tackles. So yeah, it was really just rally around them.
You guys were able to string together several 3-and-outs in a row to help the team get back into it. Just take me through that and what that was like on the field when you were able to get all those big stops.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything. You know what I mean? You just talk about momentum of the game. You talk about the confidence of the defense. And at the end of the day, when we're down, we're always trying to get the ball back to the offense, you know, and let Patrick do his thing. So great play calls, and everybody just played their downs.
A gritty win in overtime. What's this say about the Chiefs right now?
I think it's just a testament to the locker room. You know, we got guys that believe, you know what I mean? And everybody comes into work ready to go no matter what it is, no matter what the record is. And we got to just keep moving forward because I think we have a lot of success when guys believe.
After the great fumble, you guys came out there and only gave up 18 yards the rest of the game. Was there a difference in the mentality and the energy out there after that? Just knowing that you need to get stops after stops?
No, I don't think at any point where we felt like we had to do something more. I think guys on this defense truly just buy into each other and understand what's at stake. You know what I mean? So guys do their job at a high level, and when we execute, a lot of good things happen. My bad. Can you say it again?
Yeah. Is this what you guys more of what you guys are when you're aggressive, when you're going after the quarterback with the game on the line, the third quarter and overtime?
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing was when we're setting pressures. You know, it's a lot on the DBs, and I mean, you talk about J.Y., you talk about B. Cook, Jaden made play, Chamar, like, guys on the back end were making plays. And I think the past few weeks I've talked about, you know, we're right there. We just haven't made it. And today is one of them days. So I think we got to just continue to move forward and just keep that confidence while we're out there.
This is the first win in a one-score game this year. What did it mean to get that monkey off the back?
One more time.
You know, this is the first win in a one-score game this year. What's it mean to finally get that monkey off your back and win a close game?
Oh, man. I mean, it don't really matter about close games or what. We just happy we got to win.
Trent, what's it say about the guys in this room that you guys were able to dig deep and get it done?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, I never lost faith in this group. You know what I mean? No matter what the score was, when we lost, when we won, the guys have bought in, and it's always been like that since I've been here. So the culture that has been built here the past 4 years that I've been here is the reason why we continue to go out there and win.
When the game starts on your guys' side of the ball for overtime, what does that do for the guys when Indy knows a touchdown can win the game?
You said in overtime as a defense?
Yeah, when you guys have to start overtime.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was really like 0-0. I mean, that's what we all told each other when we out there in overtime. Like, it's sudden death. You know, we make a stop, we can win. We have a chance to win the game. If they score, I mean, we make a run on the offense. So we really went out there with a 3-0 mindset. You know, just get off the field and get the ball back to the offense.
All right, that was Trent McDuffie after the game, audio courtesy of our very own Stephen St. John. Take a quick break, come back, and wrap up the show on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
about that play by Tranquill and Chris Jones? The Colts offense has been non-existent of late. And the punting unit's back on the field. They just blew up this play at the line.
And they decided to take the ball. So you don't get what?
Fourth down.
And that stop in overtime was our Stack the Box defensive play of the game, which is brought to you, of course, by Boda-Box Wine. Kick your tailgate party up a notch this football season with Boda-Box, the ultimate tailgate wine. Boda-Box is the premium boxed wine that wins with wine critics. Boda-Box, this is how we Boda. Please drink responsibly. Sponsored by Boda-Box Vineyards, Manteca, California. Chiefs get it done 23-20 over the Indianapolis Colts in overtime, trailed 20-9 in the fourth quarter. They now win a one-score game. They are now 1-5, I should say, and gear up for the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And speaking of that, Cowboys are in action right now against the Eagles. They're down now just 21-14 after falling behind 21-0 to begin the game. Jags are up 24-21 with 1:58 left in the fourth quarter, and the Raiders down 24-10 to the Browns. Looks like Shedeur Sanders is going to get his first NFL win and his first NFL start. A reminder, we will not have a Red and Gold post-game show. At least you won't be hearing from me on Thanksgiving. So enjoy the holiday. We are going to be back for Sunday Night Football against the Houston Texans. But until then, you take it easy, Kansas City.